Nothing is accurate in this article except for mine and Oprah's names. That's what he said.
I mean, you see what I mean? You gotta stick around. I mean, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. I mean, they pay us to do this. So we go off every week right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange Live.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Starts now.
I ain't gonna tell all your business. But anyway, and we're gonna have joining us on the phone a little later, we're gonna have Robert Williams of T Marquis Entertainment. He's a businessman. He understands music business. He helps me work through this game, because it is a game with highs and lows, ebbs and flows. And Robert is gonna come on and tell us more about his business and what's going on with him. But today, and of course Nate, he's always the man. He's always here. He gets on my nerves sometimes because he tried to make me not be a secret squirrel. I enjoy my secretdom in life.
And I have backup today.
And off camera, my friend Denise is normally off camera, could not be here, so I brought the first of my borns, Erica, with me. So she is off camera, not mic'd in here, and from occasionally she'll be there for the head nod. But anyway, as we get started about getting paid, understanding your value. Understanding your value. First, Jackie, tell us about yourself a little bit.
All right.
Before I ask you the question. So introduce yourself to the audience.
Yes, thank you. It's such a blessing to be here, and happy Easter.
Yes.
I want to get that out as well. And I am indeed J.C. Gardner. I am a transformational, inspirational speaker, a best-selling, award-winning author. I am also a writing coach, consultant, and a ghostwriter in my spare time and during the day. Yeah. And at my day job, I am a manager at a faith-based international relief and development organization where I have been amazingly for 29 years. And I've also been married over 32 years with 2 successful grown children.
So tell us this. Though you have your daytime job that you love and you adore and you cherish, in your organizational CEO gig, how do you begin to understand your value to your customer?
Well, one way that I do understand my value to others is especially when I get referrals and also when I see my client produce the product. So when we do writing coaching, or if I do writing consulting, when I actually see the finished product, that brings me so much joy, and it brings the client joy. Right. And when they go to publish it, because sometimes people write for therapy and for release, but still, even then, they feel like they've made a big accomplishment. But should they decide to publish that work, I'm like, wow, you did the darn thing.
Right.
We worked together for 10 months, because a lot of writing coaching programs with me are a minimum of 10 months. And you finished your book, and now you out there selling it and marketing it, and it's done. That brings me so much joy.
And so I know with all of us, we start, and we have to understand that we give our services so we can learn. In the same way as somebody would go to cosmetology school, you do hair for no cost in the classroom, so you can learn while you're going, and people pay a minimum price. So it's free, but it's not free. Tell us in the beginning when you started and you had to give services with less than your market value or close to free.
Yes.
Tell us how you moved from free to getting paid.
Well, I still do free.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yes, I do. Every day I feel like, no. It's not every day. That's exaggeration. But my thing is, that's an excellent question. That's an excellent question. But my thing is, I review a lot of work today for no cost for a lot of people.
Well, let me just say this. Her review for no cost is equivalent to $95 to $150 an hour. I just want you all to know that because she's not going to say it out loud, but I will. $95 to $150 an hour she does for no cost. And why do you do it for no cost?
Because I have a heart and I'm very passionate about helping people. And writing is part of my DNA. That's how it's innate. I've been writing since the age of 12. So that is just something that I've always done. Somebody has a paper, somebody has an anthology, a poetry book, a project. They just want me to look at it, but I don't just give them like, oh, fix this sentence, fix that sentence. I go all in because no matter what, I feel like it's my rep on the line, even if it's not for paid customers. And when I transition from, quote, free, because truthfully,
free is not free.
Exactly, free is not free. It's not free.
Let's be clear.
That's
Nothing's free.
You're correct. That's why I said when I transition from free to paying, it is only because I'm like, wait a minute, I am indeed worth it.
Right.
I am doing a lot. I am putting in a lot of hours and time, and after a while, I think that I should be paid for my services.
Right.
Not only that, my rates, truthfully, if you go out to the marketplace, I'm telling you, I'm a bargain. Yes, I'm a catch, okay? But what you're going to get is as if you paid top dollar. And that's because I've never been in it to make $1 million. I've always been in it to feel like I'm getting my worth, but I want you to feel like you're getting double whatever you thought you were going to get.
And so your business strategy, it's two parts that I'm hearing. One is to feed your DNA of giving.
Yes.
One is to feed your heart of writing.
Yes.
And one is to make sure their soul is filled with your services.
Yes.
But it's still not free. What happens when you get someone who doesn't get your value and they keep coming back and act like you owe them?
Oh my God, she must have been up in my email recently.
And it's not that they don't get your value, they're choosing not to see it.
Yes.
Because they want what they want.
See it over there on the other side, not in the camera.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go and give your soft offering today. So
how do I deal with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I do have a limit. After I've, let's say, edited, gone through, revised, restructured, reformatted, and sent you, I'm going to say 3 to 4 revisions for free. That's when I'm like, okay, at this point, I want you to know that I've done all that I can do. And if you want to move further, then we need to enter an agreement. And that is so very difficult for me. It's not easy for me because once again, I want to help you. But at some point, especially if I feel like you're taking advantage of me, which I'm usually not that person, it takes me a long time to realize, wait a minute, I done spent 18 hours and time and my software and my knowledge, and you keep coming back and you keep coming back, so after a while I'm like, okay, either they think that I'm supposed to do this for them, or like you said, they just don't want to recognize it. And they know they have, the other thing I want to say about that is people know what you are an expert in.
Yes.
And they know who they can and can't go to.
Right.
They're like, I'm going to call JC because I know that she's going to do this for me. And then they just take it to the next level because they know I'm a giving person.
And everybody does that.
Right.
And it's honestly, everybody does that in their mind. Like, I'm going to look out for this person when I get it. I just need you to keep doing it. And I've done that. But at some point, you have to recognize that people have to eat just like you got to eat.
Correct.
And your worth is not attached to your heart. You have to disconnect that.
Yes.
Because the moment you overdrive that, then you're not going to have anything.
True.
You go hit a writer's block moment, and you ain't going to be able to write for yourself, let alone all these people out there. And I'm saying this and I need to be speaking to myself at this point. But it's something that we all do when we have a passion for something.
Right.
Teachers stay a little bit longer.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
The fireman or go get the last person out of there if he can. Like everybody does it, no matter what your passion is. But you have to stop before you kill yourself, figuratively or literally, in the process. Like it's just, if they don't see your work, that's fine.
Correct.
And if you keep helping, that means you don't see your work. So, yeah.
That's true. You downplay it, and you don't even realize you're doing it.
Right.
So,
well, let me ask you this, because I know at some point we got to go to a break and bring on Robert. But how do you view what you do as a ghostwriter and a person that teaches it? Do you view that as income, or do you view that as hobby?
It's not
I know we're going to take a quick break.
We're rewarding you for something you already do. Listening to us.
Proceed with caution, tired of lane, I'm exhausted. Poppin' Zanny Zan, sipping out the faucet. I'm confused, don't know what I'm doing. Wait, what I'm doing? Got me going where the I'm going. Out of space where I'm going.
We're rewarding you for something you already do. Listening to us. It's Radio Loyalty, and it's an easy way for you to get free stuff. All you do is sign up. Go ahead and click the banner now. You'll earn points as you listen. Points you can trade in for great products and services in the Radio Loyalty store. You can earn even more points when you share your favorite station with friends on Facebook and Twitter. Radio Loyalty. It's free to sign up, so click the banner to join now.
Join the Just a Bit Outside crew every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com.
You want to start off?
I think I'll get it out of the way on a who's not.
Okay, do it.
The Orioles.
Right.
They got swept by the Royals. They lost 4 in a row, and the last 5 games have all been decided by 1 run.
Mm-hmm.
The game before, or the last game that they lost before the Royals was the Nationals, and it was Weeders, of course, won with a home run.
Hit the home run.
Right. They were going into that National series. It seemed like they were doing so well, and they just crapped out. They got that game postponed, so who knows when they're going to replay that or play that game.
Mm-hmm.
That's my first not for the night.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and weigh in on my who's not, and I'm going to talk about the San Diego Padres.
The Padres. That's okay. You just took my answer.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Artist Exchange Live.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Start now.
Only on BigExposedRadio.com. This month's sponsor is the Grit Fund. Unfortunately, this year's cycle has closed out, but you can still go to their website, www.thegritfund.org, and see all their qualifications, see their current winners of their current grant cycle, and see what you can do to get prepared for next year so you can submit and you'll be on. So one of the things that I want to say this time is we have a second sponsor this month, starting actually in May, but we're going to announce them a little bit earlier, and it's Camp Sessions. Camp Sessions is a ongoing jazz session that happens the last Saturday at the Field Center, 225 Holiday Street.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. 225 Holiday Street. Come on down the last Saturday of every month. This month it was actually going to be on the 27th. So come on out. It's a live jazz show. We're going to be outside under the cool April breeze. So come on out and listen to some great jazz music. Oh, so today's show, we have Miss JC. She's joining us. She is a phenomenal writer, we just learned. And we were actually asking her a question at the end of the last segment, and we actually have our second guest on the line. So I'm going to let Ms. Richburg introduce him, and then we can get back to the conversation.
Hello, so who we have on the line is Robert Williams of T. Marquis Entertainment, right, Robert?
That's correct.
Okay, so we're going to still pause you for a second, Jackie. But Robert, tell us about your company and tell us what you do and tell them how you help me.
Well, T. Marquis Entertainment was started in 2000. We represent artists, actors, and DJs. I actually started in the music business in the 90s. So we're talking pre-digital, pre-social media. I actually owned a recording studio in Atlantic City at the time, which was the only professional recording studio. Rodney Jerkins opened up his studio around the same time, which was 7 miles away from me. And the difference between us, besides being a platinum-selling producer, his studio was private, ours was public. I've had the honor of being in NaTasha's presence, thanks to my cousin, and we've been collaborating for a couple of years, and I enjoy it.
So Robert, right now we're talking about getting paid as an artist and author and business person, and what you do. When does it move from trying to make the income as part of your income versus hobby and doing stuff for free? And Jackie, could you answer that real quick? And then we're going to bring it back to you, Robert. Can you answer that real quick?
Answer the question one more time.
Like when you're making money, and people could view it as not as an income thing, it's just something you love. How do you move that from hobby-ish to income base?
Well, the way that I moved it was actually by offering services to people who were saying, hey, I want to write a book. Can you tell me how to do that? And I also offered writing workshops at a couple of expos. And then people, when they signed up for the writing workshop, they came and they were like, oh, I never thought about this. I try to give them tips, and I try to show them how they can actually write a book. And when you leave my writing workshop, you either have your chapter or a chapter written, or the beginning of your chapter, or you have your outline, or you have your preface, because I'm all about let's make it happen and let's make it real. I'm not just going to stand here and lecture you.
Okay, so Robert, in your business, like you said, Rodney.
Good job.
You said Rodney's studio was private and yours was public. Can you explain why that was such at the time?
Excuse me?
Why was his studio, Robert Jerkins, private and yours was public? What was the difference in your business strategy at the time?
Well, my business strategy at the time was, because we're talking pre-digital, no one had studios in their house or access to digital, computer equipment. Okay. So we opened up a studio to give all those artists access to record. Right. We had a band practice room, and the difference again with Rodney, because he was private and he was dealing with mainstream artists, you couldn't go in there to record. Oh, I see. And so in doing your work, and I know you've managed artists over the years, and I know when artists first come in, they have to do a lot of promotional stuff, promotional gigs and promotional tours where they don't necessarily get paid. They bear the cost to get on that stage. How do you know when it's time for an artist to really go from doing promotional to getting paid? I think it's just almost a matter of, practice and exposure and fan base, because now I always say the stages are getting smaller and smaller for a revenue generating for an artist. Mm-hmm. So what I mean is that going back to the 90s, I had a lot more stages that my artists could perform on and get paid. So now, because the industry is so oversaturated, the booking agent is reluctant to try someone. Right. Where they're looking, of course, that social media following. They want to make sure your followers transcend to the stage, right, to their club. So you can say I have 1,000 followers. They don't expect 1,000 followers, but they do expect at least 50 to 100. Mm-hmm. Right. So when artists are coming in the door trying to get paid bookings, they have to prove themselves first and have a track record, mm-hmm, and start that momentum. And a lot of artists are not willing to sacrifice. What I find today is artists are not willing to sacrifice and grind. Right. They all just want to jump from recording in the basement to performing at Madison Square Garden. That's true. That is so true. And so based on how long you've been in the business, over the years, you've built up some goodwill with some decision makers. How do you use that goodwill to benefit those artists and individuals that you work with? I mean, again, it's based on relationships. And I have to say, in the early days, I built a lot of relationships off of MySpace to the point where I got clothing deals. I've got my artists to record songs for other people to end up on pilots for TV shows, VH1, BET, all built off of relationships. And that's, we all know that's what this industry is based off, relationships. I've had relationships that go back to the 90s. Mm-hmm. And it's about keeping those relationships fresh and provide them with a tangible product as in the artist. Because even though you have built those relationships, that doesn't mean the door is open for whack artists. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just saying, they're not going to, just because you built up this friendship, they're just going to have an open door to your catalog. Right. To all your artists. Right. And so with you, I do know, because you shared with me, particularly from other countries, groups will send you these wonderful letters asking you to manage them. They'll show you what they've done. They'll send you their catalog. They send the wonderful pictures, and they say, please think about managing us. So with regard to you, what do you do with that kind of information? What do you do with that? Typically, and especially nowadays, artist management has definitely changed throughout the years. I'm more hands-off. So I always get back to everyone because I know how it feels for people not to get back to me.
Right.
So I always get back to them and say, hey, thank you for sending me this, but you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy part is I always wonder what do they read when they read my bio, because I will get a fiddler player from Sweden. You know, he's just from Hawaii. You know, it's all over the place, country, western, and I think what it boils down to is when people Google artist management, you know, my company comes up high, so they're hungry.
Yeah.
And you know, I have a little track record, so they might, okay, I see that, so let me call him up, let me email him and see if he's interested.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, again, when I started, the artist management was more of an investor in an artist.
Right.
So you had this raw artist that didn't have nothing. You know, no branding, no image, no music, nothing.
Right.
And no money.
Right.
So the artist expected you to do all that.
Right.
Studio time. So there could have been, you know, like for one artist that I've dealt with, there's hundreds of thousands that have gone into the garden. You know what I mean? And that's why a lot of times when you read these stories about these artists that are mad at, you know, say Poppy or whoever, and they're like, well, he robbed me or he did this. There's a backstory to that. People don't say how much was invested in them.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of money that goes behind the scenes to make these people into who they are.
Right.
Now, if you didn't do all your business sense from the door, yes, those people will get your publishing. Maybe they'll get all this other stuff because you didn't do your proper paperwork. But, you know, besides that, there's a lot of investing that goes into an artist.
Right. Right, and that goes into understanding the value. I've seen where artists live with the management team for 3 years, so that's food, clothes, shelter for 3 years, send them all over the world, so that's hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then they say they robbed me. That stuff wasn't free. It's not free. You don't live anywhere for free. You don't travel for free. You don't order dessert off the menu for free.
I think part of that is the idea of artist development and the education part of it is missing on both sides. Of course, the artists, we learn the skill set.
Right.
The business side is something you learn after you've fallen off the cliff.
Right.
But in terms of management and people that are investors, I think you would make more money probably in the long run versus right now if you gave your clients that education.
Right.
Because there are people that are, really, like he said, really hungry coming into this with no knowledge of accounting.
Right.
No knowledge of what a contract is or even how to read a contract.
Right.
So you will have those instances more times than not where people are coming in with those whack deals, as they call them, because they don't know and people are hungry. And I shame on any management who will take advantage of that, knowing that this person doesn't know and still sign them and still take their stuff off the side, and they know this person don't know why all this stuff is costing them.
Yeah, but the other side of that, I'm a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what you're talking about. That thing, I don't know what I'm talking about. I teach them how to read the contract. I teach them the math of it all. And what happens, Erica, who's off camera? What happens? They get mad. And they walk away. They realize it later, but I'm a teacher. So I even see doing right because they're in the unknown.
Right.
They think it's free, and it's not free. It's a cost associated with. It's a cost that you learn.
Either upfront or
it's a cost. I mean, not a cost, physical cost, but it's a cost that you learn, and that you can.
That costs money.
Yeah, that you articulate. Because when you come with me, I teach.
Right.
That's one of the things. But Don't let us go there about getting our homework done. Don't you owe me an assignment? I'm sorry. Oh, that's a sidebar. And so, I'm sorry, Robert. We're back to what you're saying. So, Robert, so with regard to the new strategy in artists and how to do income with artists, why would a manager want to get involved nowadays? Answer that question. Why would somebody want to manage somebody?
The only reason why someone would want to manage someone now is if they have a tangible product, which is them as an artist with some quality music, with an image, with their branding, with their social media. So what we're going to do is now we're going to be a team.
Right.
We're putting our team together and we're going to build, and now we're going to start to make some contact with the industry because you already have developed everything that's needed, you know, because again, I'm not doing artist development.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we might tweak something, but when you come to me now, everything should be in place. So all I need to do is say, okay, what do you want to do? Oh, okay, you're looking to do this? Okay, let's go here. Boom. And I have it. Because the one thing is, because again, the industry is so oversaturated, it's an unforgiving industry.
Right.
So you can't go to a company and say, hey, I got this artist and we're looking to do this. And then they ask you for these particular things and you're like, we didn't do that yet. You know what I mean? So they're not going to be like, okay, we'll call us next week. You know,
right.
It's going to be next. Who's next? So everything has to be in place before we even think about a relationship, because that's what, when you talk about artist management, and NaTasha, you know this, it's because you are their family, you're their cheerleader, you're their psychologist, you're everything to that person, and they trust you with their life.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
You know, so, and it's a marriage.
Right.
You know, you get in a relationship. That's why they always tell you shouldn't date. You know what I mean? You shouldn't date someone that you're managing.
Right. Right.
You know, because it's a marriage.
Right.
It's a marriage, and it can go either way. It could be good or bad.
Right.
And you have to do the proper things to support it.
Right. So let me just ask you this right now, because the biggest thing for people who get into the business, the facade of getting paid immediately. Talk about what it means to get, because a lot of them think they're going to get paid day one. Talk about what that means.
Well, it's funny because I was just listening maybe last month, February, 2 Chainz was on Shade 45 with Sway.
Okay.
And he was talking about what happens to, and he broke down like what happens to your performance fee. So say he's getting $100K.
Right.
That's his performance fee. He was saying the IRS takes their 30%.
Right.
The managers take their percentage. The booking agents take their percentage.
Right.
The DJ takes their percentage. And all this other stuff. He said he might be left with $20,000.
Right. Right. Might be.
So, might be. And just think, he's an individual artist. Now, if that's a group, say 4 people.
Right.
You got Jodeci. They go on stage. They're only getting $5,000.
Right. Right.
So all these people with stars in their eyes thinking, yeah, we got to get paid. Yeah, we got to be rocking like Jay-Z. Yeah. Like I said, everybody. No. And everybody posting up on Instagram like they get ready, you know, look at me. And I have to say, social media is one of the downfalls for artists, because most of the artists don't care about the actual product, the product themselves. They care about posting up on social media. Look at me at the record label. Look at me in front of this Ferrari that I don't even own, but look at me. They're not thinking about creating this quality product that could sustain them, you know, for a lifetime.
Right.
it's more about show and tell.
Right.
But going back to what you asked, they expect to get paid with nothing.
Right.
So, you know, they'll come to you as an, artist management. Yeah, NaTasha, can you manage me? And you're like, okay, yes, I'll manage you. Sign up 6 months. Well, when are we going to start getting paid? What did you do? What did you do? Did you do anything yet? But how many followers you got? Do you got a fan base? No, but I need to get paid because, my baby mama and, my mom about to take me out.
Robert, Nate, did you want to say something?
I hear everything that you say, and all the artists that I had come through this show, they have the same issue. But I'm saying there are less teachers.
Yes.
In this industry.
Yes.
And it's the reason that everybody is making their albums on their iPhone and they're releasing that is because people they don't want to teach. Even I went to school to be an artist. The teachers at the colleges don't want to teach. They just want you to boost their resume. And I see that as an industry problem. People want you to boost their industry and boost their resume and put money in their pockets, but they're not teaching anybody anything. And I'm not disputing you, brother, because I did my research on you, and I know you have a really great career. Compared to a Rodney Jerkins, that has more of a specialty field, but at the same time, nobody wants to teach. You have this person that comes to you raw without all of the different things, but on the other side, the industry is telling them that you don't have these things, so I can't work with you. But you're telling them that those things aren't important. Stop posting on that on social media as the face, the image, and really focus on the quality of your work. But nobody wants to teach them those other things that are necessary.
Right.
You can we have some of the best neo-soul, that category of artists, but they don't get any showtime.
Right.
But they actually are more wealthy than the rappers that are on top of everybody's list.
Right.
Because they actually are out there doing the work. I just feel like nobody wants to teach, specifically artists anymore.
Right.
And we have a whole generation of
I like to teach because I do artist development, but I only can take a couple at a time because it's so intense and it's so specialized. It's so special. Everybody's curriculum is based on their personality and what they're trying to do.
And there's a difference between you and, say, the gentleman on the phone. It's a difference because you're not a musician. You're not a producer.
Right.
You're not an agent in that way.
Right.
So when he would get somebody, well, that's not what I do. But we have to start opening that lane for more educators to be in this field because the people that look like us are getting ripped off every day.
Right.
Look at the gentleman who just made the country song that they just took off the list.
Right.
That's not, our people are getting overlooked and constantly abused in this industry.
Right.
From day one.
What were you going to say, Robert?
Well, the one thing I want to say, Nate, is that I love to teach. And that's one reason why I got on the radio, because I wanted to explain things to people about what not to do, when it comes down to publishing. I've been a 17-year Grammy member. That's one of the things that, I convey to people, it's in your best interest to join the Grammy chapter. What I find a lot of times, again, is artists don't want to be taught because everybody wants it quick. They want it to happen quick. So if you say, okay, we need to do this, and we need to do this, and there's a timeline for everything, no, they're looking at other people saying, well, Little Uzi Vert just got on and blah, blah, blah. And I always say, check the backstory. It's not like he just got on. You might just found out about him, but he didn't just get on. He had a struggle just like yours, and he had to go and do his groundwork. So, I mean, there's a lot of artists that don't want to learn.
And Robert, because of Robert, that's how come I'm a part of the Grammy. And my artists are part of the Grammy. They teach like crazy if you take advantage of Grammy Pro. And because of that and the different connections, like I always talk about how Rob Schwartz's party is the best. Robert missed it this year. But even going to stuff like that, you learn. Because his party isn't just a party, it's everybody just chilling and talking, industry, having fun, and you cannot do, that's part of the lesson. Going to those kind of gatherings are very important. That's part of it.
Networking when I was coming up, we didn't have no, internet to search and do all this other stuff. I had to go to Philly and New York because my region doesn't have network at the time, so that's where I had to go to network.
Right. And so at this point, Robert, I want to, because I'm not going to keep you on the phone, but what would you like this audience to know about you before we let you go? We got like 4 more minutes now that you might want to tell us about that's going on, that you can tell us about.
Okay, just keep following tmarquise.com, tmarquise all over social media. I have Leonard Dozier, who is the voice of NFL Films. He's a voiceover actor. He's also a singer. He just started a new podcast. I'm also representing Barbara Cherie, who's an international Billboard recording artist. I've been working with her for 15 years. She's performed everywhere from Carnegie Hall to Morocco, opened up with Patti LaBelle, was on TV with Patti LaBelle. Just keep following us.
And plus, Leonard teaches too. What does he teach?
Yes, Leonard. He teaches all around the country doing his voiceover workshops. He's an award-winning voiceover actor. He's a SAG actor. He's been in Hollywood films. So definitely keep up with him because if you're into voiceover, he is a good resource.
And so what's that question about the 17-year-old self?
What advice would you give to your 17-year-old self? Not necessarily to change anything, but to kind of give some cushion for that fall that we often make.
My 17-year-old self?
Mm-hmm.
I would give my 17-year-old self the advice to keep doing what I did because I followed my path. I always wanted to be in the business. And, I think it's follow your passion. That's it.
Right. That's good. And plus you're a techie geek like me.
Yeah.
See, you didn't want to tell them that.
35 years.
See, techie geeks think alike.
Yeah.
And so, Robert, I appreciate you coming on and being part of the program. And I know you have gobs of advice, and I always call you and ask you questions, and you always answer my questions because I don't understand the industry. It's not intuitive and it's not obvious. And so things I thought when you would want to help people would want to be helped. I didn't know they would begrudge your help. I thought if you were a good teacher, people would like being taught, but they begrudge the teaching until you move away from them. And you helped me to understand that's just how it is. And sometimes when you're trying to help somebody's image to become a winning image, they think you're trying to control them. And they don't see that you want them to win. You're not kind of control. So you helped me to understand that the pushback in that regard is normal. And I've learned from you sometimes when you just have to graduate people into life and graduate them to do it by themselves while you keep going on with people who want to work hard. And I'm telling you, this grind is so hard. It's a hard grind. Yeah. Every day is 28 hours a day. It's not a normal day. And people who think they can do 2 hours in the studio and make it, they fooling themselves. And I thank you for helping me to understand the value of being part of Grammy and the ongoing education as a part of Grammy Pro. That a lot of people look at the Grammys as the awards. No, they're a wonderful educational institute that you can learn a lot. And once you become a member, it's free. And you told me about that. I wouldn't have known. Now it's harder to get in than ever, but still, if you're a musician and you have a website and you meet the requirements, I suggest you become a member if it's possible.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. So did you have anything else, Nate?
Thank you for calling in, and I appreciate the work that you are doing, especially how you sharing it, like coming on platforms like this and sharing it, because there are a lot of people who I don't believe they just don't want to help, but there is a fear, because if I give you what I know, then there's no place for me. So I really appreciate you not being afraid to share your knowledge, not only with just the public in general, but with the people that you're directly working with, because that's very valuable, and that's going to help this industry turn itself back on its, head, because we're just off right now.
Yeah.
And it's been off for a minute, but I value the work that you're doing and the input that you have and how hands-on you are with your work.
Thank you.
And plus you advise me.
Thank you very much.
P.S. You advise me, and I appreciate it.
So thank you again, brother. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
If I sit around, hold up, look. If I sit around, hold up, yeah, rebel rap. Let's do it. If I sit around, I'ma smoke some more. Wasn't even thinking about smoke before, but I'm in my head and I'm in the bed. Don't know who I am, like I'm wearing a mask. Work them old, tell them where the cash. If you wear the cash, tell them where the cash. If you playing for you, gon' run it back. Don't make promises, but I promise that. Don't promise me, cause I ain't into that. Fell in love with that and got hurt from that. Now it's all over and the curtains back. Can't see you not noticing that. I'm letting it go, it ain't holding me back. Yeah, I'm on dice, but ain't come for the crack. Drinking with uncle, we only do jack. How I'm alive, I thank God for that. Praying about it, things getting better. Open it up with my name on the letter. Why you crazy about it? Saying whatever, you shy to be you. You know you gotta be you. Sometimes I need privacy too. Yeah, you know I ride, but you know you ride for me too. Yeah, you know I. Look, you like getting that hit for real. When it's me and Murray, just us, we chill. I'm in a rush to get off to get you. Never ever had to floss to get you. Pay the dues that it cost to kiss you. Rug burns on the carpet with you. Oh yeah. Come on, dog, throw this in there. Gotta dedicate this to the homie out of New Orleans. Break. Said she wanna bump that.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
My name is Ruth Rusey. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live united. I say retired, but not really. Once a week, I read books to children as part of United Way's education program. Reading to a child creates links between language and literacy. It creates a bond between grown-up and child. And believe it or not, it prepares them for a better academic future. Oh, we read about frogs and flies and pigs with wings, all sorts of juicy stuff. It's a joy to watch all those little faces. I figure I have the time and they have the need. And I've always believed that if we're not here to help each other, then what are we here for really? My name is Ruth Rusey. I help kids prepare to succeed in school. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live united.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Artist Exchange Live.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Artist now. Welcome back to the Art-Exchange Radio Show. We're live only on BeExposedRadio.com. The Artist Exchange be out and about in the community. This weekend, I'll be helping support the Fashion Umbrella Foundation. They'll be giving a gala and representing the Impact Awards. And this is an award given to several individuals throughout the DMV area that exemplify what it is to give back and not just taking, but planting those seeds. I actually was a recipient of this award last year, and I'm helping Ms. Sharon Nixon of the Baltimore Fashion Week Fashion Umbrella Foundation in her efforts today. We'll be downtown at the Maritime Museum, and it'll be tomorrow. We still have a couple of tickets left, so if you want to get a ticket, come on out, support. And then next weekend, I'll be back at the Pill Center for the monthly last Saturday of every month jazz show that I host. And we'll be down there with Mr. Cameron and his awesome band with some jazz music. So back to our show, the Artist Exchange Radio Show. We have a phenomenal guest. We just spoke with a gentleman, a really phenomenal gentleman. I'm all about helping people. So get it done, give back, and you'll be surprised what you'll get in return. But I'm going to pass it back over to Ms. Richburg as we continue the conversation. I guess it's the hot seat. So back to you, Ms. Richburg.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. We're back to our topic about getting paid, and I want to go to the point of understanding your value. And one of the things that happened for me is more recently, people kept asking me, what is the secret of your marriage? How have you been married so long? And I do life coaching, and my clients always ask me, but the thing that really moved me in the direction to write this book, What is the Secret of Our 36-Year Marriage, was Sonny Dumarseille. He would come into town to do a gig, and he was like, you and Mr. Melvin, you got it. You need to write your 40-year. You need to write it. I need to read it. And that's what I did. I never thought of it as valuable. I never thought of it as a secret. And so sometimes people, when you give compliments, you bring out things in people that they don't see themselves. If people didn't keep asking me that, I wouldn't have thought to write the book. It's not a tell-all. It's just is what it is. It tells how we met, which my mother brought him home one night, and I wasn't properly dressed, and I had to get dressed because I couldn't entertain with a football jersey and basketball pants, could I? No, and take the pink rollers out. So that's how we met. Wasn't that deep? Also, one day...
It had to be deep if you took them rollers out.
I did take them rollers out because he was tall, dark, and handsome. I was like, oh! and then all of a sudden, we was talking about 3-4 months, and one day we was talking on the phone, and I said, Melvin. He said, what? I said, do we go together? He said, yeah. I said, well, how long we been going together? He said about 3 to 4 months. I was like, oh. So those are the kind of stories that's in the book. And then anecdotally, the decision to get married, it's not that deep. I didn't even know I wasn't telling my husband, but I was looking for an apartment because my mother wanted me out of her house. She did not like me, and she did not like me around. I didn't share that with him. So I was looking, never told him. Didn't realize I didn't tell him until I was writing the book. And I got home, I said, Melvin. He said, what? I said, I found an apartment. He said, well, when you moving? I said, at the end of the month. He said, you can't live alone. We got to get married. I said, we do? Oh. He said, let's go get some rings. And that's the story of my life. And then after that, it was like, okay, these are the things I believe that I should do. These are the things that you need to do, because I don't wash clothes. He said, I can learn. And I don't put away clothes. Do I put away clothes? Person in the corner that's not talking. And I don't put away clothes. No. He learned to wash clothes, fold, and put away, because I don't do that. But I'll cook. He can cook one thing, spaghetti. Everything else, I cook. I don't mind. He can wash dishes, but I don't even mind cleaning up in the kitchen. I don't want him in my kitchen. He used to think he could cook big chicken. That ain't happening. We don't do that anymore. That used to be on his. But he got one dish he could cook, and our marriage works. We have highs and lows, but the one thing I've learned is how to compartmentalize my marriage. You know, he's my husband, he's my boyfriend, he's my best friend. He's like my boy. You know, we go play some hoops together. You know what I'm saying? He's that kind of boy that we play hoops together, and then it's kind of like he's my baby daddy. And I never am mad at all 5 of them at once. So we never had a day where we didn't talk. Because if I'm mad at the boo and my dude, I'm all right with my husband. So I never was mad at all 5. And so that was how I could do it. And he never stayed mad more than 2 seconds. So between me compartmentalizing and him never staying mad, that thing of not talking, not figuring out, that was just not, I don't understand that when people don't do that. So those are the kind of tools we show you how we did it in our marriage. And I got funny stories, man, when he tried to stop me to go to see Luther. Oh, that was a day. He never got in the way of Luther again. But those kind of things are in my book with humor, guidelines to help anybody see how we navigate it. It might not work for you, but I'm sure some of them will. But that's how I understood my value. Because people kept asking me and asking me and asking me. And like how you, JC, you talked about you could tell your value because people refer other people to you. But you're, you know, kind of secret squirrelish too. And that you've ghost written some books.
So on that topic.
Yeah, help me, Nate.
Thank
you, brother. Thank you, my newfound brother.
Yes. What's the agreement?
What's the agreement?
Is it just I won't tell anybody I wrote this?
It's numerous.
You have to say that I co-wrote this.
No, it's what the author wants. It can be as told to J.C. Gardner. It could be with J.C. Gardner, or J.C. Gardner may not be anywhere in the product at all.
How do you let and it wasn't your idea, but how do you, that's like a step-parent or a teacher, how do you see your work out there and this person taking photos?
Yes.
Oprah,
Yes, you know who helped me with that? Miss Richburg.
You're supposed to stop talking about business. Put that finger back where it was.
Miss Richburg.
Secret squirrel.
Because
don't
that exact thing that you mentioned, I had a conversation with Miss Richburg.
Oh God.
And it was, I'm sorry.
Have there been instances where you did
just one, okay. But she straightened me out. So the thing is, let me tell you what it is. Let me tell you what it did help me between Miss Richburg, because you know you really need, just as a side note, you really need a great cloud of witnesses supporting you in your journey, no matter what it is. Mm-hmm. You really need people who are going to tell you when something stink and when something smells good. And you don't want nobody telling you something smells good when it stinks.
Right.
And vice versa. So she is part of my great cloud of witnesses, along with other people who really help keep me grounded. Why am I doing what I do? Because number one, I love it, and I believe it's my divine appointment to be an author. And then secondly, hold on, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get to your question though. And secondly, once I help you with your project, and this is key to what you said, agree to the terms.
Yeah.
That's key. If I truly agree to the terms, once it's done, I have to be mature enough to say, my work is also done. I've done the product. I've delivered what I agreed to deliver. Okay, so if you say, Jackie or JC, I want to hire you to write my memoir, but I'm going to put my name on it and I'm going to promote it, and I really don't want people to know that I didn't write this book, and I agree That means once you and I sign the contract and we exchange money, that means once I accept your money and that signed paper, I have agreed to give you what will be my baby for a little while, but will be for you to raise and promote.
Look at her go. Give up your baby?
Yes.
She looks like she's going to cry.
Yes. Because it is. When I'm in it as a ghostwriter, I have to think like you, be like you, interview you, walk with you, take all kind of phone calls sometimes all in the middle of the night. Because I need to be like right there with you. So
that's the second part. So how do you keep yourself, and you just said most of it, but when you're writing your books, it's your voice.
Yes.
But when you're a surrogate,
yes,
it's not necessarily your voice.
Right.
Right.
But how do you keep it? Because can somebody read that work and your work and be like, this seems
they
like
should not.
You can.
They should not. And that's a skill.
Yeah.
It really is a skill.
Because when people come to me and they say, I want you to be a ghostwriter, I said, Jackie.
That's what she does.
I got a card for you. That's not my ministry. God didn't call me to write for you. He called me to write for me. She a surrogate.
That's
she was
exactly
born
right.
to be that.
And it happens by me really hanging out with you or talking to you. And sometimes people will have their own products written somewhat. So sometimes I can read that and kind of be like, oh, I see how they flow or how they perceive themselves, you know. So I will give an example of one time where it didn't work. Okay. There was a person who, one ghostwriting thing that didn't work. So this person was very popular in their state, very popular radio personality. They wrote a book. They had a huge book signing. People bought the book, but it didn't go well because it was poorly written. So it came to me to help them rewrite the book to make it better. Okay, great. So I did, the first thing I had to do though, no, I wasn't terrified. But the thing is, the first thing I had to do was read the book, see what's wrong, and I invested a lot of time in that. I put forth a proposal of why it wasn't flowing cohesively and what we could do about it. I even went so far as to rewrite a couple of chapters, but didn't go well.
Why didn't it go well?
Okay, it didn't go well because the person, first of all, didn't want to make too many changes to it. They kind of wanted it to stay the exact same way, just clean up the grammar. Oh yeah. And
that
then
was your problems, man.
And then, exactly. And then secondly, they were like, oh, this doesn't sound like me. I said, okay, well that part I get. If that doesn't sound like you, we can take it and nuance it, but you have to do some structural changes in order for it to flow better. That's too much. And at that point in my contract, it says on purpose, at any point in time, you can release me, I can release you. Because if it's not a good fit, no one's going to benefit.
But how, and this is the part that I get, because I can tell certain books that I've read and wasn't written by that person.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You can tell that.
Why, first of all, your first attempt failed. Clearly. So what did you think I was going to do? To tell you to rewrite this.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like it goes without, and I've heard situations like that.
Yes.
And I've always been like, how can you be a ghostwriter and deal with that type of person?
Yeah. Oh no, I release them. It becomes where I mutually say, this is not going to work. It's obvious it's not going to work. I'm really sorry, but at this point I'm going to terminate our agreement because you need to find someone else that's going to agree to just clean up the language and then reproduce it.
Now I'm in my head like, which radio personality?
I know. You'll never know.
It just amazes me.
You'll never know.
Because I've heard of people ghostwriting before.
Yes.
But I didn't know that it was a thing.
It is.
Oh yeah, it's a big
thing.
thing.
It's a big thing.
It's a big thing. When you see somebody cranking out book after book after book, sometimes they got a team of ghostwriters.
Yes.
And they come through each other to keep that voice sounding the same.
Exactly.
But to be a ghostwriter is like a love of like being a surrogate mom. Same kind of love. They gotta let it go. And so I like the way she writes. She writes warm and full and sexy and colorful. I mean, that's how she writes.
Have you ever dibble-dabbled in playwriting?
I have a play.
Yeah,
she doesn't know my history.
Yeah, she writes warm and visual.
Well, this is Al getting to know each other.
Yes.
Have you ever written a one-man show before?
No, I haven't. I haven't done a one-man show, but my one-man show. But no, but I do have a play that one day I do hope to produce. It's a comical play, but it's called Passing Black. I don't mind saying the name.
I'm a director. I'm an actor.
I'm a director and actor.
And if you read any of her work, I like the warmness. I like warm writers. Everybody's not, you know what I mean? Everybody's not a warm writer. And you could smell the chicken in the kitchen, and you can see her going, girl, don't you do that. It's like when you read her stories, you can see it. You can feel everything.
It's rare to have that type of writer because most people are afraid to show you stuff. Because often that type of writer is writing from experience.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to say that none of my books have me in it. The latest book, Heated, which is really dear to my heart, is really me on a plate. It has humor, it has faith, it has urban slant to it, and that's really me. You know, and it has a heroine where she's just trying to make it. That part's not me, but her sister is my sister. So, like I always say writing, I don't choose these books. These characters and people choose me. I don't just sit down one day and go, I'm going to write a book today.
Right.
No, they come to me, they harass me. Oh my God. It's really something, the way they just appear and tell a story.
I have one more sidebar, then we get back to making the money.
Okay.
But in terms of being authors,
yes.
So this lane of urban novelists has brought people to bookstores that would normally wouldn't even know how to read.
Yes.
How do you feel about the genre and the artists that are in that field that won't expand their readers' mind and keep them in that, I gotta write a book every month because I gotta keep up with what they want me to do? Like, how do you feel about, or are you in that genre?
I look at it, my genre is just like Jackie. The characters dance in my head, and they have to come out. And so this was the first one that was placed upon me because of the questions asked. But I had two more that dance in my head that are ready to go to the editor next month. And they dance, and they won't go to sleep. And it's not like you write, I can see, it's like they write themselves, and then like Melvin will say, I could tell you writing about such and such again. And I'll laugh, and it's not like you're called to it. It's called to it. So somebody that punches it out themselves, that's a call. You cannot rest.
But some of them, and I would say the majority of the books that I've read, they're okay based on what I normally read, but I can't get into it because nothing seems developed to me. And it's just about getting the book out because this person took a week to read it, so I gotta get one out before they, get too antsy. And that you don't see a person with like 50 books that they've written on their table. And I'm like, where's the quality? I look at music the same way.
That's a very good point. I have read some urban books. I can't read all of them because sometimes they're not well edited, as you just said, the quality. The storyline might be very intriguing, actually. It might be a great storyline.
You can only say love so many times. give me a speed bump.
Right. That's what I mean. The quality of the book may not be the best that it could be. It's riddled with typos. It drives me absolutely nuts, you know. And so people don't care. All they care about the fact is, you know, I want to read that urban life, and and sometimes I find too, in the beginning, the author may have did everything well and by the book, but then because they have a following, they get lazy.
Right.
And let me tell you, NaTasha will tell you, a good editor is very costly, especially for fiction books.
Yep.
Because for fiction books, you should be wanting to make sure that everything hangs together and everything has a flow and that everything makes sense and stuff is not too unbelievable, you know, but you really need that editor to straighten all that out for you. Thank God for my editor, who I'm in the boxing ring with regularly, but that's how it is.
Well, editing has become an option.
Yes, it shouldn't be.
Book world.
Shouldn't be.
And I've seen people who didn't even think to let somebody read it until they've already paid.
Oh, no. You got to have a good editor. Your editor's your best friend. It's like a marriage. Your editor has to be able to get into your mind. I remember when I very first started, my first editor was a teacher from the seminary. And some of the lingo, like I wanted to talk about the half and half in the chicken box, and she didn't want me to talk about that. Oh, I got to talk about the half and half in the chicken box. And so she, because of where she was coming from, she tried to drive me to a place that I didn't want to go. And so you got to have...
that person who doesn't feel comfortable sharing their personal experience.
Right. And so you have to get an editor to get you.
That's right.
They got to get you.
They don't get you.
If they don't get you, you're going to struggle with your editor. They're like your spouse.
So how do you choose a good editor?
You got to keep...
I've been
you got
with
a
mine
date.
for 8 years now, and he was referred to me from the beginning. You know, so I've stuck with him through my fiction books because now, even though he's costly, he gets me. Like what Ms. Richburg just said. And now when I tell him I have a product I'm sending to you, he says, "Okay, I'm getting ready," because you know he knows we're going on a ride. But then he also is aware of my writing style. He knows it's urban slant. I am not an urban one-trick pony.
Right.
It has an urban slant to it, but it's definitely not. Because let me tell you, I sent one of my manuscripts to a very popular press, a very popular urban press, very mainstream, and they wrote back pretty much saying it's not urban enough. So I'm like on that border of what would be considered urban and what's not. Mine is more fiction, drama, humor, suspense, and some risque stuff too, but it's not Zane.
Oh yeah, it's not
Zane.
No.
So I kind of border up in that middle area, and it's not Christian fiction either.
Right.
You know, so but an editor is mandatory. It really, really is mandatory. And I want to tell you something else, Nate. I've ghostwritten 2 books for people who have not published them. They have not. They paid me. Once again, here you go. You know. Okay. Once the product is done, they get scared. Oh my God.
People
the
gonna know my story.
Are really right. They really want to read this. They're gonna know. Even though their initial
get out of my journal.
Even though their initial thing was wait till they read such and such, and you know this is gonna be my opportunity to tell such and such. But when it's done, it's different.
Well, because they've taken forever to write it.
Yep.
So they assumed that this process was going to be drawn out.
Yep.
And then magically they would get the guts. They knew they didn't have the guts to begin with.
But it's done. So sometimes people, just the satisfaction of saying, I have the book, but now. And one of them, I'm so disappointed. But once again, Ms. Richburg and my great cloud of witnesses have helped me. But this particular one, I really felt like it could have been, I mean, like a major blockbuster. I really, really believe it. Not because I wrote it, but because of the story. Because it had a lot of, I want to say, legs from the music industry. I mean, I was like, this thing, when she published this thing, it's going to be the bomb. It's in a box somewhere. But I had to let it go and say I did what I was supposed to do. Moving on, you know.
It sounds crazy, But often that person is waiting for somebody to die.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Or they themselves are waiting to demise or transition on so somebody will find it. And then they'll have the courage to do it.
I mean, it was to the point where they would be like, it's almost like you were there with me. How did you do this? And I think that scares them too, but that's divine. That's what I do. That's just what I do.
Right.
Once I get in your head and in your space, and after I've talked to you so long, and I'm like, wow, I can really envision, I can see myself there.
So I've helped you out a little bit, Ms. Richburg.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I had to set the foundation for what her value is.
Okay.
So now to get back to the money.
So funny.
Okay.
So we understand your value.
Yes.
Right.
You understand your value.
Yes.
Right.
Now let's get to the money.
Right.
How do we get to the money?
I found getting to the money, you have to get to a place where I call this the I be darned place. If you're going to call me and keep asking me for a service, I'm going into my life coaching. And I demonstrated by the success of people around me, I'm going to send you a bill. And you pay it or you won't. The bill is for my services and the continuation of this process. And you know what I found? They pay it.
But I only asked you to help me out.
Oh no, I help your life change. When I help, the life changes so much. The one thing as a requirement when you come into life coaching with me, you have to tell people when they ask what happened, you just say, I have a coach. You are not allowed to say my name. And
I didn't say your name.
You're not allowed to say my name, and you're just allowed to say I have a coach, and that's the reaffirming for them that it's working, because their thought processes are shifting, and plus they hear me in their ear, because you know I go there when we talk. You know,
yes, you do. Yes, you do.
And from that, my clientele it's wonderful. And it's still secret squirrelish.
But the value, and I'll speak from personal experience.
Okay.
Maybe it'll help. But knowing your value is half the value.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So that's my value.
Right.
I think we think value and think how much.
Right.
What's the price?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But value for me is knowing that I am quality, I am good.
Right.
I know you know I'm good because you keep asking me to do side projects.
Right.
But just can you help? And you really don't want help. You want somebody to pick your brain and do it. I got good at that. I understood what that process was. But then that costs money.
Right.
Because that's called a consultant.
Right.
So you have to start figuring out how much then to charge people.
Yes.
That's the easy part.
Yes.
Because that's just research. You can
Right.
The median
Yes.
amount is.
Yes.
Then people don't want to pay you.
Yes.
But those aren't my customers.
Okay.
My customers are people who want to pay me my worth, and the rest are just constituents. Period.
I learned that last year. One person was willing to pay me, and most times it was I only have this. I know what your worth is, but this is what I have, and it's still my choice. I've always had a choice. I always had the right to accept it or decline it, but I had never been in a situation where somebody presented me with my worth. And it's strange because you think artists, entertainment, people pay artists and entertainers a lot of money. Well, they don't. Because even those people who we think are getting paid a lot of money, they've had to sacrifice something and they've had to get rid of something about themselves to get that amount of money. Not to say that you can't get paid a lot of money.
Right.
But often we are starting to see skeletons now from people who we thought was the end all be all.
Right.
And all these people
Right.
who we now can see. I see you, and that doesn't take away their greatness.
Right.
But I see what you had to sacrifice in order to make it to this level.
Right.
But I'm in a space where I'm recognizing my value isn't $1 It's not $1 amount. Right? And you can't write a check or slide a card for my value.
Right.
You're paying me what you can afford to and then I'm able to accept or decline that.
Right.
So in terms of even being a ghostwriter, how do you reconcile doing it for free?
Don't do it for free.
No, I'm saying, but you've done this work before. But what was that change? What was the change when you said, I can't help you anymore?
Time. Oh, absolutely. I've learned in my old age that giving stuff away for free actually can devalue you.
It does.
Because people then stop taking you seriously.
Right.
Because they're like, well, she just giving it away for free anyway, so it must not be no good.
Right.
And that's absolutely not true.
Because somebody who asks you, can you do this for me? And I got you. You will charge somebody for that book.
Right.
Every book that you have, you will charge somebody for it. So that's your work. So this is my work.
Yes.
So that's the part that would sometimes leave me. I was like, okay, I'll help you out. And
yes.
Like,
wait a minute.
About to make money.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And they have just tricked me into just help them. Just couldn't afford the help that was necessary.
Yes.
Right.
So my question to both of you, what do you do then? In terms of the provider of the work or the product or the service, what do you do then?
I sell my goodwill.
Okay.
My goodwill is, and I say that to everybody, I'm a loyalist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've acquired your services. I know I didn't pay you what you're going to be worth, but as I go up, everybody's going with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to look for a new host. They're going to Nate will do the interview. I'm not going to look for a new writer. She can do. Erica got my own. She know the Rolodex, who to call. I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That goodwill is as we build these relationships. I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
Because there's a criteria. You have to have a heart that's for people. You have to be a nice person. Though I can't afford you the $10 million you're worth, I can sell to you that I'm not going anywhere. Ever. And as you meet me, you meet the circle that's with me. That circle has value. And that's all I can sell you until I have the bag to give you. The bags. You know, the other person in that corner, she said, I was trying to figure out what a bag was.
And with me too, I do a lot what I consider, and so does Miss Richburg, some pro bono work. I consider it pro bono. Like you said.
Pro bono doesn't mean free.
Well,
free doesn't mean I have to get money for it.
Right. No, right. That's true. No, that's true. But I have done quite a bit of that, and I don't feel bad about it.
Right.
You know, but the scenario that you said is different, where you're like, wait a minute, they just asked me for something, and I said, oh yes, I'm all in, and there's no money exchange. And I think for us as artists, because we're all artists in a different way, that it requires discernment, and that's something else I'm learning too. I have always been quick to say, yes, I got you, I can help you, and now I'm trying to do better with saying, oh, that sounds really good. Let me think about it. Let me get back to you. Oh, I want to talk more.
Right.
You know, I want to talk more with you to see exactly what it is that you need. Because before it was JC, like yes, I got you. And then hours and hours later, I'm like, wow, you know, I really got pulled into it.
Because you'll see people in that vein, and they charge people. It's not even a question.
It's not even a question. Ooh, it's not a question. It's not even a question. You're right.
And that same person will turn around and be like, well, I don't have it today. Can you, and be like, I just saw you steal money from this person.
Right.
Like, you know they didn't have it. You went to them and got them to pay you.
Right.
But you don't reciprocate that.
Correct.
So I want to make sure we're on course with your questions and your thoughts.
Right. So we did talk about understanding your value when free is not free.
Yes.
Understand the value of goodwill and make sure you have multiple streams of income.
Yes.
And so that's the thing, you know, right now, that's what I'm trying to do. I got 5, but I want to make sure I get to 10.
Woo!
So let's break down multiple.
I'm working on it. She
because I think people have this twisted.
Right.
And it doesn't mean I gotta go sell. And it's nothing wrong with these organizations. I'm not stepping on anybody, but I'm not selling Avon. I'm not selling insurance. I'm not selling Bitcoins. I'm not. But that is what is considered multiple streams of income, because somebody has been tricked at their lowest point into believing I gotta go follow this person's dream, and everybody has this Warren Buffett fake mindset. Warren Buffett does not work for anybody. He went out and bought the company.
Right.
It is a difference.
Right.
That's his stream of income.
Right.
A stream of income you can't keep piling up 9 to 5s.
No.
And consider that streams of income. Because how many hours a day do you have to work that one job, or those 3 or 4 different 9 to 5 marketing, what they call vertical marketing strategy jobs? And so when you say streams of income, can you?
Yeah, I'm an author.
Okay.
And so my books, this is my 12. They generate income. I'm a life coach. That generates income. I also I teach at UMBC. That generates income. I'm an IT consultant. Nice income. And then I get my annuity from my retirement. That's income.
So what I hear is all of those streams of income start with you.
Yes.
Your annuity is time that you put in.
Oh yeah. Hard time. Say hard time.
Hard time.
Yeah, hard time. With sweat. Say sweat. Yeah. Just be clear.
But that was work. That was a 9 to 5. And you decided, okay, now it's time for me to make money from me.
Right.
You teach.
Right.
I'm the teacher.
Yeah.
So that's coming from me.
Right.
You are the life coach. That's coming from me.
Right.
You are the author. That's coming from you.
Right.
So even the annuity, that's coming from work that you already put in, that you invested time and years in.
Right.
Sweat, blood, tears. Birth, the first born.
Yeah.
You belong to a system. Man.
Right. Go ahead.
But
that's it.
She's like, yup, keep going.
When they just come get you, just go, because you belong there. But all those come from you. They're not somebody, even as a teacher, you're still a contractor.
Yeah.
Because it's still your skill set that you're selling.
Yep.
And
it's a specialized skill set at an up-tier school where my MIS and my MBA got me there.
So your annuity is working twice as hard now.
Yep.
So
twice as hard.
The work in, and now you're getting paid from the experience that you developed.
Right.
So that's multiple streams of income.
Yep.
I'm just tired of people selling me on somebody else's dream.
I don't do those.
I'm tired of keeping the Walton family living well, and so on and so forth.
Right.
But I think people get it twisted when they think of multiple streams of income and the value system that they have. Though that stream of income does not start or finish with you.
Right.
You're the thing that keeps it going.
Right.
For somebody else.
Right.
You're somebody's stream of income.
Yep.
So I just wanted to, a lot of the stuff I think people don't understand the definition of it. Because we've come up with such a watered down version of it. And none of it starts, all your streams of income should start and finish with you.
Right.
Everything else is an investment.
Right.
For a 9 to 5
Right.
job.
Right. And then the good thing about that, it came from the desire to use my intellect to excel in business, and then I just love to do logical designs when it comes to information systems. I like that stuff. So that affords me an opportunity. She said, to consult in that manner. I like to write books, and I really mean build it and they will come. I'm not worrying about, because I know at some point in my life, this field of dreams are going to feed my children. Like Zola Neale Hurston. I know they will. I'm not worried about that. And I'm just doing it to keep it coming in. And the good thing about that, I do the jobs I want to do now. I take the clients I want to take. Picky. Did I say picky? That's not a word, is it? I'm just joking.
It's a word.
It's a word.
She
I
picky.
think it's hard not to be picky.
I am
We're
picky.
taught not to be picky because
she's picky.
I'm picky.
Especially if people of color, we got to take care of who we are.
If you don't want to come into and be taught from the way where the truth will set you free, truth is the new black, that Billy Allsbrook always say, truth, then you don't want me as a life coach. But if you want to see your life change immediately because you do the work, I won't even take you until you do your first round of homework. If you don't do your homework, don't come here. But if you do your work, your life's going to change.
I think she's talking to me.
I think I am. Certain person hadn't done their homework.
I think the first thing...
She's telling everybody.
When we had this conversation, I had to decide what my goal was and what my role was going to be.
Right.
And that's something that was difficult for me because I immersed myself into what was my passion, what is my passion, but I let other people define my value.
Oh.
So that to me, I thought they are the teachers, so they know what they're doing. And then I grew up and realized, well, they aren't doing this thing that they're teaching me. So,
but let me just say this. This is one thing I noticed, because even with my teaching style, I'm extraordinarily innovative compared to what they're used to. So they always say, Professor Richburg, you're not like the other ones. But when you're innovative, you're first.
Right.
So if I'm not like if I'm like everybody, I'm not doing innovative thought processes. Right. And I am an innovator. People don't like innovators. You always do something different, and the teacher's going to say it's not going to work. Those are all the people with 4 commas. You think of those 4 comma people in this world, nobody believed they would make it.
I remember a teacher writing, I think I told you about the article that was written about.
Yeah, you did.
At the end of the article, she said he's going to make it, but only by his means only. And I was very offended for many years. I had just started talking to that lady again. Because I was very offended because I knew the intention behind her saying it. I understand now what that means, but I understood what so I was mad at what she meant. Her intention. I'm hard-headed in her eyes. I'm not going to make it because I'm not doing what she told me to do. Well, I can't grow to 6 feet. I could, but it's going to be painful. And I'm not willing to get my legs broken so I can be 6 feet. I'm not willing to lighten my skin and become this chiseled person so I look like what you want me to be. So at that point, you're not even looking at my talent.
Right.
You're looking at the shell that the talent came in.
Right.
So, and it took me a long time. I'll say about 10 years.
Wow.
To get over this and really focus on what I want to be. And we just had that conversation about me. My value has always been intact, but I know what I want and I know how I want it. It was just because you're supposed to respect your teacher.
Right.
This
Absolutely.
person is teaching me.
Absolutely.
And I was so upset because I followed a person and didn't realize you can't grade art.
Right.
Art is, only thing you can grade is a technique.
Right.
And how I delivered on what you taught me.
Right.
But you can't grade me as an artist.
Right.
And once I realized that, it changed how I taught people. It changed how I became an artist. But that's something that's happened. 10 years is like now. That's
right.
The end of the 10-year period for me. But I had to realize that. I had to figure out what was good for me and what was making me happy.
Right.
And not listening to notes from a teacher who was not doing what she was teaching me to do.
Wow.
Or what he was, because it wasn't just that one person. We have professors that are, you can tell the difference between Ms. Richburg, who's out in the field doing what she's teaching you to do.
Right.
Because you can Google her and
right.
you can look up on her social media and see what she's actively doing.
Right.
Versus somebody who's teaching you because teaching became the job.
Right.
And that's why I said I don't want to be a certified teacher.
Right.
Because I was taught by certified teachers who wasn't out, who chose teaching over out there doing it.
Right.
And I think our value system is, especially people who went to college, our value system is set up by grades.
Right.
So we're always looking for a value.
Right.
Do you like me? Do you like me? How many likes do I have? And that's what we, as students, even if you didn't go to higher education or conservatory, we all were students at some point.
Right.
We all were graded. So we all are stuck in that mindset of, let me turn this in and wait for a grade. You know, and then we go through that cycle the next semester, the next quarter, the next school year. And our life becomes a school year.
Right.
Versus getting out there and I wake up today and I do my work.
Right.
And not just waiting for something to be put in. A lot of these artists that was coming to, I forgot his name, the gentleman we talked to.
Oh, Robert.
A lot of people are waiting for the work to be put in their lap.
Right.
You know, we see T.I. and the Family Hustle. I want that. We don't see that these people are
they hustle
life problems.
And they hustle too.
Right.
The grind is real. The grind is, I mean, when you first start out in any kind of entertainment, even literary business, you have to get your product out there, and you have to go all over the country, even the world, to get your stuff out, because you don't know what audience is going to gravitate to you. And you don't know what in you other people are going to see that your own community keeps missing.
I just posted something today on Nipsey Hussle, and I was angered at the fact that in the last 2 weeks, over 2 million people has visited.
I saw you posted that.
2 million people. And I want to know how many of those 2 million people knew who he was before he was killed. How many of those 2 million people supported him before? How many of those 2 million people were repeat customers? And I'm all for if something bad happens to anybody in this room, I'm going to feel sad. You know, I'm going to show my love and my respect.
Right.
But at the same time, where were you when that person was doing that?
Right.
4 weeks ago.
Right.
He was alive 4 weeks ago.
Right.
Where were you then?
Right.
Where was those 2 million people? Because if it was 2 million people in that store,
right,
that wouldn't have happened.
Right.
But where were you then?
Right.
So, you know, I'm on this, I guess because I have to research a lot and be building up a media platform. But I just look at those things in terms of people that look like us. And our value system is always in that 5,000 fair weather. People over there in the corner. And we don't look at those 5 faithful people that are always there for us, that are always behind us, that are always supporting us. And our value system is stuck in a place where we can't grow from it.
Right.
Because our value system is $1 set. So if you keep getting $150 to edit somebody's book, and you know that should be your hourly rate,
right,
you'll never get to where you need to go.
Right.
People always come to you, but you'll always, well, I heard you only charge $150 for the whole process. And you're like, well, I don't do that anymore. Well, okay, I might have to go there. And then you got a bill due, so I got to take this $150. And nobody wants to sacrifice their talent and their time and a no. I can't take this because it's not fueling me anymore. Because if it takes me 24 hours to finish your project and you pay me $150, count it out. That's pennies per hour.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So that's just where I'm at. So I just want to make sure we get through because we got a couple more minutes left.
Yeah. So we went through everything, understanding your value. Free is not free. That's the one thing I really wanted to spend a few minutes on. Free is not free. Yeah, because one of the things is, particularly when artists come in and new, and suppose like with me, if I'm doing a promotional gig and paying for the hotel, paying for their food, and then they think it's a party. It's free to you.
But you said, do you give them the itemized bill?
Oh, yeah. But free, so they know free is not free. And it's not free. And they don't understand that it's a business. And a lot of times when people are in the background, like I was watching Beyonce sing Ergono, I was calculating how much that thing costs with all the people up there, all the things. I was calculating. I was trying to do the math. And outfits and lights. Oh my goodness. And I couldn't even watch it for figuring out how much everything costs because that was not free.
I stopped maybe at the 45-minute mark on that, and I just rolled it back and just watched it. because I was driving myself crazy.
Yeah.
People hate her for being that talented, but don't realize what
the cost.
Right. And that was in 100 and I think 80 some days that she put that from getting a C-section to finalizing that.
Right.
And she couldn't my camera people in and make